Welcome to the YouTube Creators Hub podcast, where we help you conquer the internet one video at a time. We cover everything from how to start a YouTube channel to how to make a video go viral. And now, here's your host, the one and only Dusty Porter.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back to this week's episode of the YouTube Creators Hub podcast. Dusty Porter here, the host of the show. Man, have we got a great show for you this week. But before we hop into our conversation, just want to remind you that we are brought to you today by the fine folks over at TubeBuddy. If you're looking for a tool to help you take your YouTube channel to the next level, help you become more efficient, looking to A/B test titles, thumbnails, and get some of the most, the most revolutionary AI tools for creators, TubeBuddy is that tool. Check them out in the link below. You'll get a free 30-day trial. You will not regret it. Other ways you can support us and connect with us. I believe we have one of the best things going in the YouTube space right now. We have our premium mastermind group, which is just $5. So you support us over on Patreon for $5 to $10. You support the show. You feel good about that, right? And then you also get access to this creator Discord server. Think of it like a massive forum where you can share your most recent uploads. You can rub elbows with other creators. You can get into voice channels and chat with other people about specific topics. And then you get to be a part of our mastermind groups and get the recordings of these mastermind groups. We have now reached the milestone of 150 creators plus all of the previous podcast guests are also hanging around in there. Nick Nimmin is in there. Other people that you may know of. It's just a great place to be a creator and just be open about the struggles that you're dealing with. And then lastly, if you would like for me to do a channel audit for your channel or one-on-one coaching for your YouTube channel, all of that and the links will be in the show notes, as well as all the tools that we use and recommend here on the show. And then lastly, I just want to thank all of you for listening to the show. Do me a favor this week. Share it with a creator. Share this show. Let them know what we do here. Recommend that they go back and listen to a specific episode. And if you haven't already, subscribe to the podcast. It's absolutely free. There is no skin off your back. All you have to do is use your podcasting player of choice, subscribe to the show, and you'll be notified every single Friday when we go live. And don't forget to subscribe to the YouTube Creators Hub channel on YouTube. You can search for us there and find it, and we post the video versions of each and every one of these shows there as well. Thank you all for listening, and let's go ahead and jump into this week's conversation. Hello, everyone, and welcome to this week's conversation on the YouTube Creators Hub podcast, where each and every week we are joined with by a YouTube creator, rather, and we chat with them about their journey on YouTube as a content creator, their ups and downs, the different strategies, all of those things. And today we are joined by Mr. Paul Likens. Paul is the owner and operator behind the Palm Beaches Paul YouTube channel. He is a real estate agent, started the YouTube channel, and he began at the age of 51, and now 7 years later, I'll let you do the math. I don't like to talk about people's age. And he is 17,000 subscribers strong with a growing, budding community over on the YouTube channel. Paul, how are you doing today?
I'm good, Dustin. Thanks for having me. Excited to be here.
Absolutely. Well, I am extremely excited to talk to you about the channel. So, Palm Beaches, Paul, you live in South Florida. You talk about everything South Florida, all types of things about real estate, all the different things that happen within South Florida. You've got a great little community. You get hundreds of thousands of views every single month. So, you've got something really special. Can you tell us the origin story of the YouTube channel and kind of how it came to be?
Yeah. So, being a realtor, one of the things about being real estate, you're out there, you're trying to find clients. And most people, you get out there and you have to do your phone calls and open houses and all those things that you do. But I'd always had an interest in social media. I'd seen Facebook and people doing Facebook, started doing, posts on Facebook about real estate and getting leads from it. And I thought, well, I have a lot of people that move here to South Florida because where we're at, we're nice warm weather, the beaches. We get a lot of people who move from the Northeast here, and whether it's retire or even second homes. And I thought, well, how can I reach those people? And so I started to mess around. I'd never messed around on YouTube. Matter of fact, I started my channel. Well, actually, I joined YouTube in 2013. And like most people, I was looking for funny Seinfeld clips and, just weird, whatever things that trends were happening back then. I knew nothing about the YouTube world, and I'd never made videos before at all. And I had no editing experience. So mind you, this was like all foreign to me. But I just said, let's make videos and show people why you love living here. And it kind of transformed from that. That's how it started. And then once I realized that people were watching and they cared about the beaches and what parks I went to, then I started talking about neighborhoods and said, hey, this is in this neighborhood, you can get a house for like this much money and it's close to this beach. And from there, it just kind of started really growing. And but then this past year, it just really exploded on me.
So the channel premise, as far as you didn't necessarily start it to assist you with the business, or did you? Was that kind
I
of
did.
your initial thought was, hey, this is going to further my real estate business, but then you kind of saw the YouTube monster evolve and you were like, okay, this is going to help my business, but it's also going to help me brand myself and just do a lot of other things maybe outside of even real estate.
Yeah, exactly. So I built it as a way it said, hopefully people will see that I'm a realtor. They'll reach out to me, which they started to. It took about a year, but they started to call me and say, hey, we saw your video. We want to buy a house. I was like, oh my God, this works. And it's funny because my wife would sit there and watch me edit these videos and go, is this ever going to work? And of course, she is like my biggest supporter now. So, but so that's kind of how it started. And then, yeah, and then it really grew. And then it opened up other opportunities for me as it kept growing from there.
And what are the just videos that you upload on the channel? Give us some examples of just kind of videos that you may upload to the channel.
Yeah. So in the beginning, I might show like, hey, what does 300,000 buy in this particular like South Florida area or like that. So people would go, okay, that's, and that's going back away before the market went crazy. But they would look at that and go, oh, wow, okay. So that's what 300,000 buys in South Florida, because they might be from New Jersey where 300,000 doesn't buy anything, but Florida is a little less, right? So, or they might be from the Midwest and they go, wow, that's a lot of money for a house where I can get one here. So I started making those videos and I did pros and cons, like, hey, what are the pros and cons of living in West Palm Beach, one of our bigger cities? And I would talk about the pros, talk about some of the cons, never making it too bad of a con, just because you don't want to scare people off, right? You want them to reach out to you, but still, it can't always be perfect. And people would respond to those videos and start reaching out to me and say, hey, we saw your video. You seem to be like an expert on the city, which was great for me because I literally started to get people calling and go, hey, we saw like 3 or 4 of your videos. You seem to be the person that knows that city better than everyone. We're going to call you. And that's when my phone started ringing.
Now, you were not running ads for these videos, right? This was all organic traffic.
I've never ran an ad. I just never, yeah, I've never bought an ad. I learned a long time ago from watching, like listening to people like you and other people that in our circle, that it can ruin your channel. Don't pay for those fake likes and subscribes and all that stuff. So no, it's just organic. I lived by, it took a while because I didn't do it every week. Like they tell you, I wasn't consistent. I would do a video and then it didn't do a video for a while. And of course that took a while until I realized be consistent. Once I started being consistent and uploading every Sunday, it took off, and so much to the point that I actually had a comment on one of my videos, which is the most amazing comment I've seen. This said, Paul, your Sunday videos have become a family tradition for me and my family. We watch them having lunch every Sunday at 11. I was like, wow. My wife even goes, wow. So like I'm smiling. Maybe the audience can't see me smiling, but to be a YouTuber and have someone tell you that is such a great feeling. Yeah.
Man, that story is just, it really encapsulates why I love doing this podcast. YouTube doesn't discriminate on race, on age, on gender. I just turned 37 years old a few weeks ago. You are 58 years old, and YouTube doesn't care. You can be. I've interviewed gentlemen and women in their 70s. I had a gentleman on here in his 80s who started YouTube in his late 70s. So it really doesn't matter. And if you're listening to this, I just think it's so cool. Now, it's interesting you say that about that comment that you received, Paul, because I get Twitter messages or emails or whatever it is, and every week, and they say, I listen to your podcast every week on a consistent basis, or the really fun ones for me are, hey, my YouTube channel just surpassed this milestone, 100,000 subscribers or whatever, and I started listening to your podcast before I even launched the channel. Those are the comments that really keep you motivated and really keep you invigorated to do what you're doing. So, all right, yeah. That's cool. I'm glad you shared that. I love stories. I love backstory, so I really appreciate you doing that. All right, so let's talk about the technical things for a minute about the YouTube channel. What do you think you did well? What are the things that you say, man, because of this and this, I really can attribute the success of my channel to these things?
Yeah. One of the biggest things that I've been told, and I get this quite a bit from both people in the field of making videos, and there's I I have a circle of friends that were all realtors who kind of make like these YouTube channels, right? So a lot of people are doing this,
Mhm.
and a lot of people go, you know what's good, Paul, is you're authentic. So people who meet me, when they end up meeting me and we go look at homes and go, man, you're just like you were on your video. You're just the same guy. And although they may see this in the podcast that I'm a little more dressed up today as I had a showing, but I'm typically a flip flops and Hawaiian shirt kind of guy showing that Florida lifestyle, and the people feel comfortable. So I'm just myself. So that always being myself has been I think one of the biggest assets. And just being truthful. The real estate market, as anyone knows, has ups and downs. And I don't just paint this picture of Florida being perfect. We have our fair share of problems. And a lot of those videos that I've been focusing on lately, as of December's what made me, I think, really blow up on my channel. I did a video that talked about some of the issues going here, and it went viral. It's over 1 million views now, and I just it was crazy to see that actually happen. You hear about other YouTubers having it happen, but that kind of blew up. So just doing, being honest and telling them about, hey, this is what it's like here. And it's funny because I'm a realtor, and they'd be like, why would you say that? I said, because it's the truth. I'm just letting you know that these are some of the issues. And then we just try to, hopefully we can work past them.
Yeah. Now, what's some of the response you get in the office or from other realtors at maybe conferences? Because from what I've gathered, I have had a handful of real estate agents on the podcast. For clarity's sake, both of my parents are real estate agents. They have been. My mom's been an agent for, I don't know, 15, 16 years, and maybe longer than that. And my dad worked for AT&T, and then, of course, they laid him off right before he could retire, and now he's a real estate agent.
Oh, okay.
So with that being the case, I want that to be out there. So what's the response? Because I found that real estate agents, there's the majority of them who are behind the times, and they don't want to lean into YouTube and certainly not AI and other technology. But now they see a guy like you in his, mid to late 50s, you're a successful realtor. Now you're getting in this, what many would consider a young man's game, which you and I know is not the case.
Right.
What's the response you're getting?
Most of it's been really positive. I mean, I'll tell you, it's kind of funny. I got a call from one of my properties the other day, and I called her to say, hey, I'm just confirming that I won't be there, but the owner will let you in. And she goes, this is Palm Beach Paul. I said, yeah. And how'd you? She goes, it's April. She has a YouTube channel too, but it was funny. But she recognized me, and we talked. So a lot of it's been very positive. I'm sure there's some people that probably look and go, what is this guy doing? He's 58. What a bozo. I don't worry about those people. You can't worry about them. Most of it's been very positive. I've been asked to speak at local real estate events. They had an event here that was a sort of tech show, and I was on stage with some people that were really big on Instagram and Facebook, and they had me on there talking about YouTube. Most of it's been really great. Most of the agents are really cool and they like it. I actually had another realtor from Georgia talking to me yesterday, asking me about equipment. He goes, hey, I'm not happy with this brand of camera. What do you use? You seem to have your videos look really good. And I said, oh, here's what I'm using. I really like it. So for the most part, it's all been pretty good. I'm sure there's been some snickering, but it is funny when they walk in and go, hey, this is a world famous Palm Beaches Paul. And I'm like, and I kind of like, I'm not world famous, but thank you.
That's awesome. It's funny, yeah. The what's happened with influencers. My wife, who's a teacher, 5-6 years ago, wouldn't even know what the term influencer is. Now, she consumes all these teacher TikToks or teacher YouTube shorts or whatever it is. And she's like, man, I wish I could be an influencer, right? So
yeah.
She knows what the term means, or content creator. My daughters, who are 9, and 5, know what the term mean. And it's much more accepted than it was even 10, 12 years ago when I started as what you're getting in. You're a YouTuber? You do podcast? What even is that? And when people hear you say that, they're a little taken aback, like, oh man, I've listened to podcasts, I watch YouTube, but I've never really met anyone who does it, right? I think it's getting more and more common. We talked about the things that you did well. Let's talk about some failures. Let's talk about maybe some mistakes that you made along the way. What would you say some places where you might have stubbed your toe along the way in regards to the YouTube channel?
Well, obviously not being consistent you have to be consistent. So don't, stay. Sometimes it's hard, but you just got to get that video done. So that I stick to. And when I didn't, I paid for that. I've done some, I think, just in the realm of real estate, and you said parents realtors, trying to make some videos. Like I tried to do a video for like this $4-5 million house, and I was like, trying to be like, Ryan Serhant, right? Like, hey, look at me, doing this, $4 million. that it tanked. It's really not who I am, and it just wasn't the vibe wasn't my style of video. And I even had guys film that for me. I paid someone to film me, and it just wasn't good. So, not being authentic and being what the audience expects of me. They expect me to show them South Florida living and be who I am and just a casual guy, but be honest. So do that. That was a flub. I think just trying to do some of those things. I've tried to do live streams. I'd say this. I failed doing the live stream, but I'm gonna work at doing it again because I want to go back and do live streams because I've listened to you talk about it, and I think it's a great way to build a loyal audience. They feel like they can connect with you as opposed to always the video because they can actually ask questions. I'm just trying to find something that's worth their time if I'm going to ask them to sit on a Thursday and watch me live. So that's something I'm trying to work on.
Hey guys, a quick pause in the interview this week to talk about my new weekly newsletter called the Entrepreneur's Minute. My plan for the newsletter is to only send out one email every week with a recap of what's going on in my business, maybe do an income report letting you know kind of how much money I've made that week or that specific month, an update on my YouTube channel, and just a behind-the-scenes look of what it takes to be a creator, the books that I'm reading, the products I'm discovering, new AI tools and resources. So if you're just looking for a way to better connect with me, Dusty, and see kind of what I got going on and the different things that I want to write about each week, maybe it's my family, maybe it's my business, it's absolutely free. It's called the Entrepreneur's Minute, and I would really appreciate it. All right, now back to the show. Yeah, it's interesting. I have a friend of mine, Christina Smallhorn, who is a realtor, and she's a friend of mine, friend of the show. I've had her on here a couple of times, and her channel now is almost to 300,000 subscribers. I mean, she's a really big deal in the real estate space. She really focuses on like modern small homes and different things like that. She does a live stream weekly, and I think she would probably say this. I don't want to speak for her, but that's one of the things that has really grown her channel is that when she was smaller, she started the streaming and kind of found her niche and then kind of grew that and did it consistently. And her channel is now huge. And she is wonderful. She's a wonderful creator, a great friend. And when I was getting started in podcasting, she was one of the first people to kind of be a paid member and a paid supporter of the podcast. And so I want to definitely shout her out. But the live streams are definitely a way to do that.
So real quick, small world. I've known Christina for a while through the Facebook group. I'm part of her Facebook group, and I remember talking to her way back when she had 5,000 subscribers. Mm-hmm. And then I watched it, and she is like to all of us in the real estate world, sort of like the guru. Like we love watching her, and she is brutally honest. And she's told me, and when my channel had that success with the video, she goes, "You need to focus on that niche." So I am trying to follow that. It gets a little difficult, but yes, I know who she. And yeah, that's neat that you said that. She's a great person, and I've gotten so much great advice from her.
Absolutely. I want to ask you now, let's talk about monetization. Okay. You sell houses for a living, right? That's your day job, but YouTube kind of is a cog in that wheel. So talk about the different ways you make money. I'd love for you to share kind of on average what you make, per month from kind of everything that YouTube brings in. Okay. People, whenever I talk about YouTube monetization, early on, people thought, well, it's only AdSense. That's not the case, right? YouTube revenue is so much more than just AdSense. There's so many more baskets, affiliate revenue, sponsorships, different things that you can do like a podcast, or you can sell your own merchandise, or like you can have clientele get in touch with you or find you due to your YouTube channel. So talk about your monetization methods and hubs and kind of what you got going on.
Okay. Well, so right now, pretty much it's the AdSense. I don't have any sponsored deals or anything yet. I did just a small agreement where it was more of they're going to give me something to use for, make a little commercial deal. So it's a trade type stuff, but it's a start. And I'm hoping that if I do that, it's a little weird because when you're a realtor as opposed to someone that's a vlogger, and they're out doing like a travel vlogger and they say, hey, today we're sponsoring this, blah, blah, blah. It's a little different. Plus my demographics, I know that most of the people watching from my analytics are in that 45 to 65. So no one's really jumped out at me about doing anything like that. But I do get the ad revenue. The ad revenue was really, for the first couple of years, it was about $1,500 a year. And I was happy. I was like, hey, look, we're making a little bit of money. It's like the wife and I could go on a little vacation. And then that video went viral in December. And I went from 5,800 to 12,000 subscribers in a week. And the video just keeps growing. And now it's like at 1.2 million. And I think the CPM, is that what we look at, right?
Yep.
Is that what we're talking about?
That's one of it.
I think it's a pretty high. I think it was like 20 something 18, 20. It was a pretty good. It was paying pretty good. So that all of a sudden jumped up, and my wife and I looked at the following, we look at the YouTube app and we're looking at it. I said, is that real? And she goes, you really getting a check for that? And we got a check for $6,700. And I was like blown away. And now my channel's averaging about $2,000 every month in revenue, which I mean, it's like I still am dumbfounded to think
It's a
that
game changer.
it's to make it so if someone walked up and said, hey, I'm gonna give you an extra $24,000 a year. It's like it's amazing. So and then as I told you before we started, just right before we came on, I just signed up for the Google
The
influencer
affiliate program.
yeah, affiliate
influencer,
program.
yep.
So I can I don't have a lot of stuff that I want to put in there, but some of the things, the cameras I like, the mic I like, I put it out there because I have had people reach out to me and say, hey, what equipment do you use?
Yeah.
So, and if I can earn a little bit off that, we'll see.
And do you not use your YouTube channel as a lead magnet for your real estate business?
Well, obviously, yes, yeah. That's the biggest thing, is that the revenue that I earn from deals that come in and stuff. And as the channel's grown and I've reached out there, it's opened doors for me to where I got into my first $1 million plus customer who closed, and then another one after that. So yes.
Could you equate like what your business was before and after YouTube? I mean, would you say it's brought to you, would you say tens of thousands of dollars in,
absolutely.
in commission? Okay.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, it definitely changed my business, especially in 2021, right around there, right after and during COVID. It shot up with people watching and reaching out to you. Definitely changed my business and brought quite a bit of business. And even today, even though the market's a little in flux, I'm still getting people calling that are looking, that are planting seeds to look. They just aren't pulling the trigger just yet because maybe the interest rates are high and stuff. So they're waiting. But yeah, it is my biggest income coming source is from making my YouTube videos, brings in the most of my clients.
Yeah, and I just wanted people to hear that from you, because whether you're a real estate agent, a doctor, a dentist, someone who owns, I mean, I say this all the time. I got a buddy who owns a lawn maintenance company, and I told him a while back, I said, man, you need a YouTube channel. You need to do some fun YouTube shorts. I have a young boy at our church who did that, and do some really fun YouTube shorts with some music, advertise if you need to, whatever it may be, and your business is going to grow tremendously because people just aren't doing this. They're not willing to put themselves on camera, and if you're willing to put yourself out there, you can take your channel and your business to the next level. So it's so cool to hear you say that. Would you say the majority of your clientele now is coming referred from the YouTube channel, or 50-50?
A lot, yeah, a lot of it is, yeah, a lot of almost. I would at one point it was, I think in 2022, somewhere about 80% of my business came from YouTube. And then just the rest of it. Now I'm kind of working and getting out there and doing what your mom and dad do, kind of stuff, finding business.
Yep.
But still, my phone rings. I have people reaching out to me. And one of the cool things that if I can interject this is that I am an older guy, and I really tell people, guys, don't be afraid. I mean, I'm looking at this little motivational thing right in front of that you can't see in front of my desk, and it says start by starting, right? And it's like it says Meryl Streep quoted that. It says start by starting. Just hit record. Yeah. Don't be afraid. I mean, I don't, I'm an older guy. I'm just some supermodel, whatever. I'm just a regular guy, but I can record and make videos, and I tell people do it all the time. And my wife and I love it. She's so much like, she's actually now looking for ideas for videos for me. She goes, make a video about this. This will be a good one and stuff.
Yeah,
so
that's a good point. The support system as an influencer or as a content creator is so important. If my wife and my kids weren't behind me, I could not do this as a living. For one, she provides the insurance through her job. I don't have good insurance through what we do, being self-employed. So, having a good support system around you, whether it be partner, kids, whatever, is so important. Let's talk about your tech stack now. This is where I get nerdy a little bit.
Okay.
What are your tools of the trade? Talk about everything that you use in your YouTube workflow, maybe different things that you subscribe to, paid or free, and different things that you utilize to make all your stuff on your channel happen.
Sure. So starting from the editing, I just switched over to DaVinci Resolve. So I'm using that for my editing. Still very novice at it, but it's a great product. I seem to like it. I love that there's a lot of free tutorials out there. If you don't know how to do something, you just go YouTube it, right? And that's helped me so many times with editing. So I'll use DaVinci Resolve on that. And I use Epidemic Sounds for all my music. I love that. I just went ahead and did the year subscription for that. So it just makes more sense than doing monthly, because I know I'm going to continually use it, and the music's great for that. So I use that sound for equipment. I use a lot of times I use my DJI Osmo. I can't say enough good things about that camera. It's the action, and it's just I've been very happy with it. It's funny, we jokingly call it my zombie camera because I didn't have the plastic cover on it one time, and I was at the beach and it went into the ocean, and so it sat on my shelf. I thought it was dead, and then one day I picked it up and just said, "Let's just try," and it came back to life. And I said, "Oh my goodness, like the ocean would kill it." But so that camera works great, and I use a Canon M50 a little bit. I have a Ronin SC gimbal. It gets a little heavy to use the Ronin SC, but I like doing that. And I have a lighter little DJI little gimbal that I'll use for some stuff with like a iPhone for
Sure.
some footage.
Sure.
So mostly that, and then my mic. I just picked up the new mics. I picked up is the I love the DJI wireless mics. I love those.
The little boxes, the little squares.
Yeah, it's got a magnet that clips, so you can actually hide it under your shirt, which is great for some places.
Do you know what model you have? I've ordered 2 of them, and they're not here yet, but I cannot wait. I'm so excited about them.
Yeah, I got the first one that came out, so I know they just came out with a new one at Christmas. So the one I got, and that's probably why it was a little less expensive. I was like, man, it's a pretty good price, but it works fine. It's a dual mic. It's fantastic. It's got a great range. And what I'm going to be doing in my videos a little bit more is incorporating more interviews where I walk and talk to people on the street and ask them, hey, what do you think about the current real estate market? Like, I like getting that interaction from people. So it has 2 mics to be able to do that, which helps instead of trying to take the mic from, your mouth to their mouth, yours, and it never really works on camera that way.
So the reason why I got one of those I mean, obviously everyone and their brother uses them now. If you go to any YouTube channel now and it's a vlogger and they're in front of the camera, you're going to see that square black DJI or Rode, whatever the company. I think I ordered one Rode, one DJI to do a little video comparison of them.
Yeah.
But I wanted the feature to be able to do some YouTube shorts from my phone and not use the phone microphone. The beauty of that microphone is that you can hook it up to your smartphone and do like short, like I want to do some short form content for the podcast YouTube channel, and I'm a big audio person, and when I go and I record it with my phone, I have a hard time publishing that because it doesn't sound as crisp as I want it to. So if you don't know what we're talking about, I'll link that in the show notes as far as these microphones go, but they're a great asset to have.
It works amazing for the iPhone feature that you're talking about, or the cell phone feature. I've used it, and I'll tell you when I do it. It's when I go and I do my live streams and I'm walking around. I've had people say, "You sound amazing. What is it?" I said, "It's my new DJI microphone." So, which is funny, as I told you about the affiliate program, I just put that on some of my videos now. So if people see that and maybe click it to go buy it and stuff, it's a product I believe in. And then I use one of those. I don't use the. I used to use the Jobies, but they're kind of so flimsy if you bend them too much. And they have some the tripods work. I ended up going with what they call, I think it's called a switch pod, and it's the metal one.
Yeah, Pat Flynn's product, I believe.
Yeah, and I love that thing. It's solid. I walk around, it's light, and it's easy to carry around. So pretty much that is it. I don't use any drone footage yet, only because I don't have a license to fly my drone, and I don't want to get in trouble. So I've had a drone. I just have been lazy about taking the test for Part 107.
Whenever I do drone footage, because I film weddings, my brother-in-law, he aspires to be a pilot someday when he has time, and he already has the license, so he comes with me, and I don't want to get in trouble either, so I let him fly it, and then I use the footage once we kind of learn. I kind of direct him as we're filming, so that's interesting to hear you say that. I now want to transition over to, like, what have you learned about yourself? Now that you've done this thing, you put yourself out there, you're going to get hate, you're going to get love. That's just the part of being public on the internet. But like, what have you learned about Paul? Like who you are as a person?
Well, when people say that you're a genuine guy and you come across and like very honest, I think that's such a great thing. I mean, I always thought I was pretty genuine and a nice guy, but to have complete strangers tell you that, hey, you're really genuine, like you don't come across as a used car salesman. You just sound like a nice guy. You're talking about real estate. You love what you're doing. I like that. I learned that I can be like, it's funny, like all of us that are, all of you guys and gals out there that make videos, that first time we put that camera to our face and someone walked by, you probably hit stop and stopped recording because you're so embarrassed. I've been now where I was doing a food review and I'm taking a bite of a sandwich and I had 6 people staring at me as this hamburger's in my mouth and juices dripping down my cheek. I didn't care. I didn't care that they're staring at me because my goal was to do my video. I've gotten so much more comfortable in public now, being able to just walk by the street. You're going to have people when you put yourself out there, and you, especially being a realtor, and you make videos about stuff, you are going to have people who leave comments. You know what? My wife said, kill them with kindness. Someone said the other day on one of my videos about less jabbering and more facts. And I responded, hey, there were some facts in between all my jabbering, like with a funny comment. You can't make everybody happy. I'm sure, Dusty,
No.
you had that, you know that.
No, you
But
can't.
yeah, I just learned that I like helping people. I love telling stories. One thing I will tell you is, as I do have goals to go beyond this real estate, and I know I heard you talk about this the other day in one of your podcasts, starting a second channel and hopefully building it to something. I learned that I really love telling stories and meeting people and hearing their stories. It's really kind of cool, and if they're willing to tell it to you on camera and you can share that, it's a pretty powerful thing. And so that part of me is something I realized that I really love to be able to tell stories and share stuff with people. And I never knew that I honestly didn't realize that until a couple years ago. And I just said, wow, this is cool. Like, people enjoy what I'm doing. So I like that. So I can, as someone who's 58, I can see myself taking this and doing something even different with it, maybe even after real estate.
I absolutely love that. Paul, you have been an amazing guest on the podcast.
All
I will
right.
have all of your links in the show notes. You are so kind to be here. Thank you so much for being here. And I really, really appreciate you. And keep doing what you're doing. You're spreading a positive message, which is very rare in the current society that we live. We appreciate you being a guest on the podcast.
Thank you so much. Love your show, and so honored to be here. And I appreciate everyone's time and hope everyone has a great day.
Hello, everyone, and thank you for listening to this week's episode of the YouTube Creators Hub podcast. I really do appreciate it. Don't forget, you can subscribe to the show for absolutely free in your podcast player of choice. Also, there are ways you can connect with us. You can support us by supporting our sponsor, TubeBuddy, as well as supporting us over on Patreon to get access to our creator Discord community. And I also offer YouTube coaching and consultation, YouTube channel reviews, and just overall business coaching if that's something that you are wanting to look into. So make sure you check us out there, and we'll see you next week.